as it is here, and coming to you live from Jakarta, Indonesia, to address something that I think has become kind of a hot button topic. A lot of people talking about artificial intelligence and its use in creative endeavors. And so, to start with, just to get to the meat and potatoes of this, I'm going to talk about AI and the nature aware channel, so my channel here on YouTube, and the use of AI and what is used, what has been used, and what won't be used. In a basic sense, I started working with and experimenting with creative uses for AI a couple years ago. And, you're talking about everything from text to image or text to video generation, to create parts of, not entire videos, but to create parts of videos. And one of the uses that came out after a while of working with artificial intelligence was the ability for me to clone my voice. I didn't want to do a faceless YouTube channel. I'm still not ever going to do a faceless video for YouTube. As part of this channel's backbone, that's not my thing. However, I am deaf. I barely hear it, I should say. I am profoundly hard of hearing, and that is to say that my hearing is so poor that even in the same room, if I'm sitting next to a person, I would struggle to have a conversation in the quietest of settings. And there are times, especially when the weather changes or if my health is poor, that I can't actually hear myself talk. I can't hear myself pronounce words or speak very well. And when those things start to happen, it makes editing and creating video very difficult. So one of the things that I embraced pretty early on was to use, and this is not an endorsement, I'm just saying, I used a company called 11 Labs to clone my voice. Basically submit a few minutes sample of yourself speaking clearly, and it creates a voice clone that you can type in anything that you want yourself to say, and then your voice clone will actually say it in your voice. And in the beginning, that was really great to me because, being as profoundly hard of hearing as I am, I didn't have to worry about my audio clarity or my pronunciation clarity on the times which my health made it impossible for me to actually hear myself talk. Hello, Sniper. And basically, it worked kind of well, but then I got to a point where I felt the limitation of the AI produced clone voice of myself was not as emotive as I needed it to be. Not that I'm going to sit here yelling and screaming about, the wildlife and the monkeys and everything, but at the same time, there are times when I want to convey a certain amount of emotiveness. And hey, Dr. Random, I'm doing all right, Junior. That's a very good use of AI, I think, is to start to help people that need, either with their hearing or their sight, to give them a little bit of an adaptation so that they can do the same things that other content creators do. So for me, being basically deaf and not always being sure of the quality of my voice or the sound of my pronunciation, cloning my voice was great. Then I started to experiment with creating thumbnails for YouTube videos using text to image, and it turned out kind of fun. You can still see them; they're on the channel, but at the same time, it again just seemed a little bit removed. And I'm not anti-AI. I'm not banging the drum to say, yeah, let's all embrace AI. I think there's some problematic things that are coming down now. And most of it actually centers around the fact that what should have started out as an equalizer has become what it always is when money's involved, a consumerist-driven pop culture issue. And AI is a victim of that because AI in and of itself is just a tool. I mean, it's neither good nor bad. And the use of it and how companies profit from that can have a negative or positive effect on people, on companies, on brands, whatever. So I started to make the thumbnails using text to image, and the quality was okay, but it didn't mirror exactly what my channel is about. And I've decided to kind of step back from that a little bit. Very rarely, I won't say it's impossible, but very rarely am I going to use a text to image to create my thumbnails anymore. I am going back to what I am. I'm a wildlife photographer, as you can see in my house here. I've traveled the world and photographed wildlife and written books and made documentary films. So for me to use AI to make a thumbnail seems to me personally just not the best use of my creative talent. Again, not anti-AI, and I know a lot of people are mad about it. I'll give you a little bit of my background very, very quickly, because a lot of people are like, well, if you have no talent, and you make AI slop, blah, 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 that's great for you. I was a professional graphic artist, not a hustle artist, not a side gig, not a GoFundMe artist. I was a hired and worked for a company, professional artist. I painted a mural at Epcot, Walt Disney World, Orlando, Florida. I got paid for that. I had T-shirts that were near Orlando International Airport and my designs on them. I was lead designer for several years. I did the creative conceptual art for comic books, and I did the main art for a graphic novel. So I've done a lot of graphic art. I don't see AI as a threat to graphic art. Actually, I don't. I see the way, like, again, this goes back to how companies use technology and tools. Companies exist now, currently, to make money. I mean, it's their bottom line. They want to make the most money and put out the least effort. And AI really speaks to that because, you can train anybody who can write a decent prompt to go out and recreate something or give you that immediate gratification, like especially if you're storyboarding, to do a text image and get a storyboard done in an hour is an amazing concept. And there are a lot of companies that save a buttload of money by using AI, and that's whatever. Will there be artists displaced by AI? Yes, there will, and that's unfortunate. That's the same struggle that happens with any technology that comes along. So going back to the fact that I used to be a graphic artist, this was back in the 19-odd decades. I was a graphic artist back in the 1990s. I was analog, and yeah, as animation became more interesting to me, I was very, very quickly schooled in the fact that digital animation was going to be the future, and hand-painted cells and analog animation was strictly not. There was no real future in it. So what ended up happening for me is I transitioned away from doing my commercial art analog and did it more and more digital. This was pre-AI still. Well, actually, no. A lot of people talk about AI like it's new, but I mean, Photoshop in its basic level, and when it first came out, used a limited scope or narrow scope predictive algorithm, which is basically what AI is, to do things. So you can create presets. When I had a tablet and I did my graphic art on a tablet, man, presets were good. I could do cell shading and all that stuff and save a lot of time just knocking it out with my presets. And that's limited scope AI, and that's been around for a long, long, long time. So AI is not new. But getting back to why I'm changing my methodology here on Natureware to involve less AI, it's not because I'm against it. It's just because I personally have creative abilities that are, I think, more authentic to what I feel I should be producing by showing you my photography or my graphic art skills. And that it's not to say that I won't use AI anymore, because I certainly will. I'm going to occasionally make shorts using my clone voice. You're going to see some short videos, especially like, top 5 reasons I love long-tailed macaques. You're going to see pictures of long-tailed macaques, and I'm going to clone my voice and give you the top 5 amazing facts about them. That's probably going to happen. Some thumbnails will come out with AI artwork if I can't personally produce a photograph or an image that I've done. to illustrate the content that I'm trying to get people interested in. YouTube is all about getting people interested, but at the same time, that means I have a responsibility to give you a certain amount of quality for your time. Your time is worth money, and you shouldn't be subjected to the least amount of quality or the least amount of effort. And when you come to Nature Aware, you are always going to see a lot of effort. I am both hearing and physically disabled, but that doesn't keep me from staying out in the field. I do primatology as a hobby, but I've been doing it for 4 years out there watching, observing wild monkeys here in Indonesia for 4 years straight, writing about it, blogging about it, YouTubing on it, and it's going to continue to happen. I do not know how good my hearing will be in the future, being basically deaf now and slowly losing my pronunciation abilities is going to become more and more of a factor. So will I drag my clone voice back out and use it more? Yeah, there are times I'm going to be incredibly insecure about how my voice is sounding. I'm wearing a mic, and today is not a horrible hearing day for me. So I think my audio for you right now should be pretty decent. And I can't always guarantee that. So at times that I can't, I may rely on that AI help. But that's where I am with it. So is AI going to be cut out of Nature Aware? Not completely. Is it going to be less than it has been in the past year? Yeah, it's going to be a lot less because I just want to do more with my photography. I have a lot of great photos to show you, and I have a great history with graphic arts, analog style, and I'd like to bring that more into Nature Aware. And of course, the music background that you hear in a lot of videos is AI produced because I use Fillmore or Wondershare. Again, I'm not plugging Wondershare, but it's the tool that I use. And I have the same problem. I can't edit audio because I can't hear. And yeah, so I'm going to rely on that. And I make no beans about it. I'm not apologizing for it. It is what it is. I'm not using anybody's singing voice, and I think that's ethically okay. At the end of the day, we all need to decide what AI means to us and what the ethics driving AI means for us in the future. And I think it's a good conversation to have. I think it's important. And this is me weighing in on it. So I appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much. And everybody take care. Stay Nature Aware.